Thank you for staying with us. Now, grocery prices have skyrocketed. Preparing food is no walk in the park these days. A lot of readjustments and cutting out excesses. Well, Nanama, a wholesale grocery producer at Agboboloshi and other big markets, explains what goes into the pricing in today's edition of the Living Standard series.
We have 400,000. Now, what always say we are better than Mayansika.
Yeah, mommy, 20 Ghana. 20 Ghana, no. And I'm not going to womb. Made it the womb.
Groceries from farming communities arrive at Agboboloshi. For over 30 years, Nanama's job is to cart groceries from Gosu farms in the Ahafo region to Accra and other big cities for sale. Although the job is tedious and sometimes dangerous, she enjoys it.
Trucks break down and then armed robbers attack us.
Lately, she explains that to make profit, she would have to haggle with retailers.
Oh no, I won't take 15 cedis. The plantains are expensive. I buy them at a much higher price. I can't sell them for less.
She leaves her 6 children far away in the Ahafo region to endure bumpy roads to cart her goods to the market. Sometimes, she spends days on the road when the truck breaks down. Nanama would not disclose how much she earns, but said her profit has dwindled.
Whenever we come to sell, we don't get much because there are many competitors. Sometimes the farmers think we cheat them, but that is not the case.
To understand why Nanama is driving a hard bargain, I engage Martin, a driver. He explains that he is compelled to charge more when carting groceries because of rising fuel prices and the terrible state of roads. But what has bad roads got to do with the prices of groceries? Martin explains.
My vehicle has 9 sections costing about 2,000 cedis. Most of it goes into buying fuel. We have complained several times, but government has turned a deaf ear.
Riding on his nickname, Humimobo, which translates, "Have mercy on me," is hoping government will fix the roads in these areas.
I
just wish they would asphalt the roads for us. The roads are terrible and many drivers are reckless. One time, my car was hit by a stray bullet from
His colleague Daniel shares the same sentiments.
There are no street lights. Drivers are always hitting potholes. The road minister has turned a deaf ear.
When they safely arrive in markets, they employ the services of young men like Kweku, who engage in intense energy-sapping activity to offload the foodstuffs.
20 Ghana.
Every post I unload earns me 20 cedis. Out of that, I take my lunch, clothing, and everything.
Maybe be a woman. Oh, 20 Ghana.
If groceries are now expensive on the market, the reason is simple. Rising fuel, terrible roads, and charges from offloading boys drive up the prices.
Breaking the bias. Now, that's the theme for this year's International Women's Day commemoration the world over. Here in Ghana, the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is leading a national conversation at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, on the theme. Now, we certainly won't miss out on that, and that's why we will be taking you live to the event immediately. It gets underway in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, though, let's bring a number of related stories put together, especially to highlight today's women and the strides they are making. Now, every year, the world commemorates International Women's Day on March 8th. Now, this is typically a time to reflect on achievements, advocate for action to address persistent and widespread inequalities and violence against women. In this regard, the Executive Director of Global Action for Women Empowerment, GLOA, Rosamond Ewenam Atutoni, has called on stakeholders, particularly traditional authority, to join the fight against gender-based violence by changing their way of thinking.
Local authorities, that's the traditional rulers, can start with their community or even in their homes. They should start by changing the way they look at things. They shouldn't say women don't have position, or they shouldn't occupy certain position even in the chieftaincy where they are at the moment. So they should look at what particular role women can also play, what particular role girls can also play, and sensitize their own community members first, so that they can also go and sensitize others. So they should teach their the immediate family, then the information should spread out. So it shouldn't be something that they will need to maybe do outside their box. They should look within their own community. What can they do? So if they are able to reshape their own family, and then the community members see that, oh, even the chief's wife is doing certain things that they thought was for a man to do, then I think the whole community will begin to learn from them.
Let's now take you to the Makola market, where some women trading there have been calling for equal opportunities for all. They spoke to my colleague Michael Ashali when he visited them at their stalls this morning.
The world is marking International Women's Day, and we are here in Makola Market to speak to some of the hardworking, arguably one of the most hardworking women that we have in the country, women here at Makola Market, to interact with them, to understand their perspectives on International Women's Day. The world says breaking the bias, the theme that christening this year's celebration. So I'll be speaking to some of the market women here. I have one market woman here who will tell us her name briefly. She has her son here, definitely telling you how she's much interested in making sure her son is educated and the hard work she puts into getting her goods also. So, Mami Pacha was saying?
Mabra.
Okay. Ante Mabra, and then you be say, Moya then a manage if you sanso baha be juma. How difficult is it?
Me sorry 3 o'clock. E will fear. Sorry, ye Gianni, the mammy mano, the Obeka will fear no. Now, my father, me jare no, Mrs. no be by 4 o'clock, except me befaka na me backroom. So your backroom, so I be so jar. Oh, short time, ne Bobber to say 7 and now 7:30, so Mrs. Akrano, now I'm in the school. Nti okwa me fa so abeto ade abenye ska so beboa ofie ahwe enkwala no e ma ne se ye nkasa ye bre ese ye chen mema no e ma ne bre ofie kura chen e mema ese ma ne ye hard kura chen e mema no be sora ma che utra ka mu kura e ma nko a ne ye tekem benya be ma be miensa pe ne wom It's a man who's so no. And they die so much to me then. Would you my pan a man ye bread?
Unim se tetino na ebimu my bakasi baby asa wotina a kitchen and I would school there won't could Sisi ano hu se na hu no asesa.
Me pa chan say the assistant. First no tetone na ye say oba so wo because na we hear adwuma e wo ho ye fie adwuma say die eni wasa say the be ma tumi ye no oba tumi ye so oba e be ma tumi kaka oba so kaka oba wo office ya be ma so ye den e wo ho be ma wo office oba so say the adwuma bia e me ma ye bia oba so ye bia nte say first na ye say oba hye na ya ade na say the eni ho bi
o personal experience say unyin no because say o your ba ntumi nya we
the bibia betumi aye unyin no bibia kwa nim ti na niam no so sesa say ade achi ade san na niam no sesa ente say
wo uko bibi musa say obi catcher o say wo your ba nti ade we ana ade we ntumi nya
nse tito ne de mfa ye ma ye nko school na ma no ne ko school no enti ye de ye ka ye hye wo fie ba say die eni hobiem
sa na esima wo
sa na esima me enti I say me de ton ade am ye enti me so me bo me modern say me ma no atumi akọ school no mso so atumi abenya dibre papa bia de agina
enti say o hwa den na potin obeka say o pese say aban na nkofo no mudi enim no omo be ya boa ema na motumi atumpon
aban so otimi boa ema ne pa na say ema ne mpo no ye brecha ema no so motimi ema ye so ye sorry e wo abrabo ni say ema no ye bre ema no motimi emwa de ade a oba be ma betumi aye say oba so tumi ye enti so omo boa ye no mo peja ema ye so ye bem
that's Mabena here. She tells me that from her personal experience growing up, she was prevented from going to school with, and she was told that that is for men and that women are supposed to be in the kitchen. But she tells me that she's working very hard to make sure that her children, of which I want to believe they are females, get that opportunity that she never had. I'll be speaking to some more women here at Makola. We are still in Makola, interacting some of the almost hardworking of women here, almost in the entire country, to find out from them the perspectives whilst the world is celebrating International Women's Day. Let me get closer to the lady here. Madam Pacho, your friend saying?
Pacho, your friend, me baby.
Now we are there.
Pacho, me yeah beast no.
Pacho, say your friend saying baby.
Baby.
Udi angasa no.
Baby, baby, I know be a friend. Me be any say baby. By me dia de.
Trees, enti then now you are.
Pacho, me ton beast no.
Okay. Ne ebisa say emano mu adwuma no etesesen wo adwuma na wo ye no. How difficult is it?
Pacho, me adwuma ni say eden pa. Adwuma bia ni ho eda from baby eden. Se say me say me sorry 2:30 ahemra chen a 2:30 no me dwale awia me ye bibia me free fie no na abo be ye 3 enti a check by 3:30 na me wa ha me ba ne ma ba be shedwa no na me ton me san wo nkwala wo fie so me ba me ja nkwala ni ska be man kan ho me jo muska na ma ba nti o mbe sorry no na o man ka say dwale na o mo ko school na me so ma be ton ne ma nti enwumre e bo be say 4 to 5 a na ma park na me ko no ma ko ton ade
it looks like a lot of things Eden
papa o sole am na chi 2:30 obi o wa oda o sorry 8 o'clock ba yen sole 2:30 no ba wa hwe wi aye timo wi nyina da ye so ebo 8 so aba e4 be ba be pamo ye na nka me person ka ba e4 ne bata mamu wa ha na mu hu bra ye bre me ba park sa ne ma we nyina gidigidi o nti ye den so ye be ne den ye mani nti because sabi o school ye yankobi ti ye mani nti ye bra ma ye ma no se be ya omo me bre se de ye bre enu nti na ma ye bre sa no
ti ase nti ebi mu nso nyi no titimrem ne be ka se oba de ese wo tena kitchen ese wo ko school ese wo ye sei we de mema adwuma wo ye sei unyi no ko bibi ufa bibi musa
Oh, me the school no do me call kakra. Me we JHS. Na me call SS, but na me mama so no a single parents. No ni scanty man we SS. When I'm the better na me turn there.
Want me uncle no. I didn't want man to us. You can say oh about your banty jai and bibi inti na want
me de obi anka say me your banty me nya ba na scan any ho. Me mama nko na me ka say no a single parents. No ni ska o ska de anko be mama ko ba na ska no na eni ho ntina ni jai school.
Enti ye ka say ene yen jai sa ade na ede ye ma no wa e be ka say wo your bantu ntumi nye ana we ye be ma adwuma den na wo be kan fa ho
Dabi ano de maye oba ye bibia maye nka say onyai e wo se oye sabi o ye se ade a do enye bibia oba ma betimi aye na oba betimi aye enye bibia ba niam bebre wo ho a oba ma betimi aye a oba so betimi aye enti no oba no the dance pilot clan no person oye obet of full so betimi aye wo se ye ma ne ye oba person okọ school a kodru obo ne masters ana obe professor wo se ye ma ne bibia oba person oye bia ense se ye putu ma off na ye ma no sabi yen ye wa abadaye ye wa abadaye wo niam bebre hu se wo de oba na we kwaje agri o kan if you educate a woman you educate a nation no enti ye ma de se wo ma ne mema na se bia usika nso a asam na me konfo oba ne ko school oba ma ne hia ma no omusu ma nipa omu wa abadaye ma nipa.
That's Beatrice Pan. So that's Beatrice here. She deals in beads. We are still in the Marcola here, interacting some of the women here. We're speaking to two women, and Beatrice says she has to wake up as early as 2 a.m., get her household ready before she makes her way to the market to try to make ends meet every single day. It's not an easy thing to do, I want to believe. Definitely a difficult thing to make it. Today we are celebrating women across the world. And these two gallant women certainly are making things happen. Reporting from Marcola Market, Michael Ashali for JoyNews.
Fatima Sumani was inspired to stand up and create a job for herself by her desire to do something different and not get bogged down in life. She abandoned her professional studies at the University for Development Studies in order to pursue what pays well. JoyNews' Muhammad Nuruddin reports other young women in Tamale are now taking advantage of Fatima's experience to learn fashion design.
My name is Fatima Sumani. I completed University for Development Studies, offered Integrated Development Studies. Yes, I ventured into fashion and designing as just the interest, the skill I'd wanted to just acquire, the passion that drove me into it. From UDS, after my national service, I then decided to pursue it as a profession.
At the end of her national service in 2012, she decided to enroll at Abbey Creation University College for 6 months of training in fashion design. Fatima says she saved the monthly allowance for the training.
Whilst having my national service program, I had it in mind already that right after national service, I was going to pursue this course, and it involves money. So I saved my allowance for that 1 whole year period. So what I saved is what I took to school. But the point that you actually need capital to start something is not the whole, that's not the whole situation. Your passion pushes you. You can actually start. My field, for instance, having even just a needle and thread is enough for you to gather money for a sewing machine. Then after the sewing machine, you can also gather enough for a different thing. That was how I grew.
The 34-year-old does not regret making such a decision. But how much does she earn?
Months, we do most bridals. So in a month where we have the bridal clients coming in, we can make like 20. Yes, we can make like 20. But there are also times you make less. There are also times you make, yeah, that's profit. There are also times you make less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. There are times like that with the business. You make less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. And there are also times you make more of it.
So far, Fatima has trained 21 women at her institute. 6 of them are graduates from various universities across the country. Hafiz Abdallah, a KNUST real estate graduate, and Priscilla Kando, who also studied community nutrition from UDS, are among the current trainees.
I've been here for about a month now. So far we've learned how to do basic hand stitches, decorative stitches, seams, and now we are working on finishes. So I'm working on one now, and I'm sure, I hope, and I'm sure that at the end of the 6 months learning period, I'll be able to make my own clothes and make clothes for my family as well.
I'm basically here to learn everything I need to know about fashion, and so I took this step to join this fashion class and learn, because fashion is one thing that I've always loved and I've always wanted to explore, but I've never really found the right time to do it. And so I've been talking to Fatih for a while now, and then when the opportunity presented to join the weekend class, I said, why not? Let me come and do something that I've always wanted to learn, something that I love and I use almost every day.
Fatima says there is hope for her business, and there is also hope for graduates chasing a few non-existing jobs. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
You're still watching JoyNews Desk. Now, breaking the bias, that's the theme for this year's International Women's Day commemoration the world over. Here in Ghana, the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is leading a national conversation at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, on the theme. Let's take you live to the Great Hall. We'll definitely go back to that as soon as they started. We're going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more.